We are in the danger zone. Thank you, President Biden, Speaker Pelosi, and the rest. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, August the 29th. And as if time flies by, and yet the mess and the danger continue to increase. And of course, we have no one to thank but our great president, Joe Biden, who has never been a good politician and always been somewhat of an idiot. And of course, our Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, and of course, we've got some major catastrophe. And before we go any farther, we must send our hopes and prayers out to our people that are left in Afghanistan and are trying to get out, and our military that we have lost for absolutely no reason. We have to be very thankful that they're there to fight for us every day, but we have to be very concerned that they were somewhat deserted throughout this entire operation, which is led by ignorance. That's all I can say about it. It is a tragedy that could have been avoided, but of course, we have to try to make some kind of a statement, according to this administration, which is bad. Okay, again, if you thought President Trump was bad, I don't know what you could possibly think of what's going on right now. In the meantime, this first part of our update is brought to you by our new friends, our physical metal partners, and who I use to buy, store, and get gold, silver, platinum, because you know that no matter what our positions are, I'm always a buyer. And that is our new friends at Strategic Wealth Preservation, or SWP Cayman, Charlie Alpha Yankee Michael Alpha November.com/Bubba-trading. Great operation. They do a great job, and we're thrilled to be in partnership with them to put people in touch who always ask me where to go. Well, that's where I go. In the meantime, we had Jackson Hole this week, and what did we see? Markets making new highs. But it appears that the Federal Reserve is maybe they're never going to get it right. That we already know. They are as worthless of an organization as you can have. They are supposed to be a private organization, which they are not. They are driven for political gain, and again, more ignorance to us, and basically more fleecing of the American dollars. Okay, but they finally might have admitted to inflation and are considering adding fuel and food and energy to the equation, to the curve. So maybe they're going to come out of the early 19th century and come into today's world of what real inflation is all about. And of course, Krispy Kreme says, donut inflation, the prices are going up next month. Well, you know that's happening. You know all prices are going up. And if you've been to the grocery store, you know that although you might pay the same for a package of food, the weight is less than you were getting before. Okay. But, Powell's big decision to taper or not, well, he did say that they might consider the bond purchases, but, they have created a major trick box for themselves. In gambling, we used to call it the French book, okay, which means you laid 6 and you took 5. Okay, so if the game falls in the middle, you lose, both sides. And that is basically what the Federal Reserve has created with the ignorance of all their policies and their stupidity of not letting the free markets play. Now, I was on Liz Klayman on Friday, and she was talking to somebody right before me about, that New York is now talking about putting a maximum charge of DoorDash and Grubhub. And she said, well, what about the free markets? And when she got to me, I said, Liz, please give a message to the Fed and let them let the free markets work, because they are not doing that. They're trying to manipulate the market. So the rallies, are they real or are they based on the money supply? And we'll get to that in our market report. But, again, there's the Bank of America says that inflation is at record highs. Now, you can believe them or not believe them. I mean, I would think you'd have to believe them based on the prices you're paying. Okay, I mean, look, farmers, producers, the cost of goods has gone up. The grocery store, and you can bet, and I believe that Starbucks already raised coffee. Okay, you can bet the rest of the things are going up too, but yet, we're still giving out stimulus checks, which is another ridiculous, idiotic portion of this country right now, because there are so many jobs available that restaurants and service businesses are having to close because they cannot get labor, no matter what they want to pay. It becomes obviously a much bigger problem. Okay, but what we really have right now is, in many places, is a zero-sum game, which means that there is not equality. There's going to be a winner and there's going to be a loser, and that goes between Russia, Belarus, and the NATO, the military exercise you're going to do against NATO that's coming up shortly, and China, which is over the South Sea. There is issues, and those are going to be zero-sum games, and we are not the power as we were. Okay, we are not the feared power in the world. We are now weak and continue to get weakened by a crappy administration. Okay, again, I don't care who's in power. You have to hold a firm hand. Okay, and we are the one nation in the world that could be totally self-sufficient, and for us to give up our energy and our ability to create is moronic. Okay, especially the way that it was done. But of course, if we go back a few years to Obama and what he did to the coal producers, it's not a surprise, because he did the same ignorant thing there when he was with Biden and Obama. And of course, as I've told you almost every week, China and India, which populate the majority of the world, are never giving up coal. It's too cheap. Okay, so even at record prices, it's still the cheapest source of energy. So our energy policy sucks. Okay, but this is what we have to look forward to. So we need a miracle to help us out here. Okay, I mean, you've got home sales that are hitting record highs, but yet they can't meet and are not matching up with expectations. Okay, lumber prices are collapsing. Okay, does that mean that the stock market is going to collapse? No. Does it mean that the economy collapse? Not yet. But you can bet that something is coming. Okay, now, I think that the Supreme Court finally, it's been so long because I think they made a good decision. Okay, but they finally favored or decided with the landlords. Okay, I don't know where we get off with this free rent or no delinquencies and because of the times. All I know is there are jobs everywhere. Okay, and people, as we know, will take advantage of whatever they can get, which means maybe not paying their rent. Well, what about the landlords? Don't they have help? Don't they have employees? Don't they have costs? So we wanted to torture the landlords and destroy them, okay, when they put their hard money into work, and they got to pay their help, they've got to pay their expenses, they've got to pay to fix the building, and yet we don't want to pay them rent. So thank you, Supreme Court. It's about time that you did something and made a decision in favor of the right side of the law. Because, again, landlords and building owners, they need to be paid as well. They have expenses. Businesses do not operate without money, okay? And the way that they get their money is from rent, okay? And as you continue to criticize the billionaires of the world, remember that they're the ones that create the jobs. They're the ones that put it together. They're the ones that put their own necks on the ledge to create the businesses they have. And they are entitled to everything that they can get because they were the ones that took the risk. Everybody in America still, as much as they try to take our rights away, still has the opportunity to create the next Amazon, the next Tesla, the next Apple, the next Microsoft, whatever. Okay. Nobody says you cannot create. So they pay the majority of taxes. Do they skirt tax laws? Of course they do, because that is the ignorance of what is written in the tax code. Okay. Look, you give a smart businessman the opportunity to not pay taxes, and he's not. Just like everybody who's watching this does not voluntarily pay the full amount of taxes they own. You all look for deductions. You all look for ways to not pay the full tax amount. If we didn't do that, then we wouldn't have a need for accountants. Okay? Why do you pay your accountants? Because you want to pay the lowest amount of tax you can. So should a billionaire be any different at what he wants to pay? Okay? Let's get real. Quit criticizing the people that built this country. You know, the guys who formed the original Constitution would be billionaires in today's world. Okay, so why don't we understand that if we would let the free markets work and get rid of some of this ridiculous regulation and all this ignorance, and again, I don't care which party you are here, on both sides of the aisle, okay, and actually go back to a real country, okay, without everybody stealing. Okay, I mean, Biden just authorized raises for everybody in the federal government. I mean, really? Okay. So they never missed a check, and we are still struggling. They want to give away free rent, but yet they want to give raises. Now, where is the logic behind there? Okay. I mean, I can't tell you how serious I think this is. And of course, we talked a little bit about Afghanistan and our foreign policy, Biden's team of foreign policy idiots. Okay. We have done the most ridiculous job at leaving Afghanistan, yet, of course, they blame President Trump. He didn't pull the trigger. He didn't say, let's leave now. Okay, he had a plan. He did not try to make it a date that was the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. Okay, I mean, this is we are a country that is weakening by the day, okay, with a patient that should be probably in the Alzheimer's clinic, okay, because he can't remember. If you watch his press conference, he couldn't remember. They have to give him the order of who's asking him the questions, okay? And of course, is Kamala going to be any better? And God forbid we'd get down to Nancy. Okay, I mean, this is a real mess here, okay? And, you know, I think that, you know, when you look at the bigger picture, okay, we need help. We need a miracle. We need somebody to stand up and say, it's time to be America. It is time to go back to being Americans and being the dominant force in the world, helping others because we can, not succumbing and giving up everything for no reason, especially when you start looking at what we want to give up and what the squad wants to give up, because what they want to do will make us worse than Venezuela, will put us in weakness, and we should, as an Americans, we should never be the weakest. We should always be the strongest. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz with you, and of course, we're going to stop out here for a break, and we'll be back with our market update for the week right after the break. Well, everybody, again, as you know, we have many brokerage users that I use, many different brokerage accounts that I have, but I have two brokers that I prefer, and again, one for futures and commodities, which is the CTG Group or Capital Trading Group, and it's very simple. I use them because they've got wonderful customer service. If there's a problem, you pick up the phone, you call them, they answer. No voicemail, no nothing. Okay. They're the only ones I've authorized to do our letter of direction trading. They manage and handle all my accounts. They've got some terrific managed futures products, including a brand new S&P and gold product. Okay. And if you want to reach out to them, please do so. Here's their information. It is info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And of course, for options and equities, you've got Trader. Now, I tell you this all the time. It's $10 a month. That should be enough for you to say, hey, maybe I should save all that money. Okay, I save 5 figures a month, okay, by using Trader. But to add on that they also have terrific customer service. To add on, we have their APIs, which allows us to automate our equity portfolios if you choose. Now, again, you don't have to. You can trade wherever you want. And if you trade with Trading, you don't have to use automation. It is included in your membership. It is free. It is something that you get to do and get to use at no cost to you if you choose to do so. And all it does is follow our formulas and follow our trades. And of course, those who hedge, you have to pay separately for this over because the hedging is a class. And we do have a new class coming up September 7th. If you've been thinking of hedging, you might want to get a copy of the recording and get ready and get in that class because I think you're going to need it. And of course, we've got our great relationship with family farms. And, farmers are what built this country. Farmers are what started this country. And family farms wants to help them continue to be farmers and not deal with the minutia of the rest of the stuff that people don't like to do. In businesses, salesmen like to sell. They don't want paperwork. Farmers want to farm. They don't want to deal with HR and all the other stuff that goes with it. But look, for all you farmers, reach out to our partners at the Family Farms Group, and you can reach out to them at www.familyfarmsgroup.com/Bubba-trading. That's familyfarmsgroup.com/Bubba-trading. Okay, great organization, great partners. Okay, and of course, our commodity report written by Andy Hecht. Look, I tell you this all the time. You need a doctor if you're not. If you're a commodities trader and involved, Andy writes the most comprehensive report. He's been writing for Seeking Alpha for bar charts. He was for 40 years a vice president of Solomon and Phillips Brothers and those guys. It's called Technomental. You should check it out if you're in the commodity spot. It uses our algorithms as well. Go to BUBBATrading.com and it's called Technomental. And of course, our high school program, which is, at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba-trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba-trading. Help us out. We're trying to just help educate our youth so we can get away from the ignorance of finance. And let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and me, Todd Bubba Horwitz. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, August the 29th, and we're approaching the Labor Day holiday, which means that, as we told you the last few weeks, it's slow. It's going to get slower. And by the end of this week, it'll be like a morgue. There'll be nothing going on. It'll be extremely quiet. And that is exactly what we know is going to happen because it always happens. And this time won't be any different, which means that markets will probably continue to drift higher, barring any unforeseen fundamental news bomb. Okay, but it's much better if you're an active trader. This is a great week to take off, probably the next two, because I don't expect it after Labor Day to see any real activity either. But in the meantime, this update is brought to you by our friends at Capital Trading Group, CTG. Now, again, I tell you all the time that I have many brokers. Okay. But my preference lies with the Capital Trading Group, CTG. Why? Because they've got great service, because they are the ones I decide to authorize for a lot of direction trading, because they trade all my accounts. They've got great products. Check them out, info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And of course, the markets continue to make new highs. Okay, this week it was the NASDAQ and the Russell that made new highs. And of course, we remain long the Dow, the Russell, the NASDAQ, and still short the Russell, which had a nice up week this week, but again, is still, if you look at a chart going back to last February, it has gone nowhere. It is basically in quicksand, okay? But I would suspect that we will continue to see the grind higher because there is an old adage in markets, which is you never sell a dull market because remember, markets are predisposed to go higher because new money comes in every day from funds and other things, retirements that are buyers only. So when you get very quiet conditions, the drift or the tendency is to continue to work their way higher. Now, as we look into the metals world, right, we've seen, all kinds of reasons why metals should go higher. Now, they have not. Now, on Friday, they had a nice little pop. But we are still short gold and silver and would still be short platinum with the exception that we don't trade platinum. It's not liquid enough. Okay. But I think that, now could gold change, tomorrow or the next day? Yeah, it could change. I'm sure it's very close to reversing trend. But so far, every rally has failed and we're still in an overall downtrend. So we remain short gold and silver. And again, we don't trade platinum. But again, now on a physical standpoint, as you know from our new partners, but I'm a buyer all the time because I'm an accumulator of physical. I'm a trader of the paper. The bond markets, bonds and notes, we have now split. We are still long bonds, but they had a lower week. And we are now short notes, okay, which is actually a real spread. It's called the knob. But I would suspect that, if the Fed is going to taper, take in some of that spending, you'll probably see interest rates will rise a little bit, which means that the bonds will go down. Now, again, we'll see. I mean, right now we're short notes, long bonds. Copper, had a nice up week last week. We're still short. We were short all week. I know during the week I made a couple of mistakes. I said long, but I meant short. I forget because, I'm doing it all off the top of my head. In the meantime, we're still short copper, and it's really just in a consolidation pattern. And of course, it's an important commodity for the general economy, kind of like lumber, which is collapsing. Copper is not, but it is well off its highs, but we are still short for the moment. And crude oil, which we are short, has had a big up week. Late in the week, it had a huge rally. Look, we're still short. I mean, again, are we going to reverse? I don't know. If we reverse, we'll reverse. I mean, certainly our energy policy is ignorant as it can possibly be. So there would be no doubt that we're going to go higher eventually. And I think you're seeing that in natural gas, which we are still long, okay? Because natural gas is at the highest level in August that it's been in 20 years. Okay, think about that. The highest level it's been in August in 20 years. We're still long, okay? The dollar, we are still long. It had a rough week. Not a rough week. It was down a little bit. I mean, you assume, remember, the dollar is not a wild asset. And you had Wednesday, you had a little bit of action, which created fear, which rallied the dollar. And then, of course, it spent the rest of the week coming down, with some of the taper talk. And, remember, the dollar, all fiat currencies are crappy. They're all going to zero because that's what the central banks around the world want. But when there's trouble in the world, because the U.S. dollar is still the currency, the reserve currency, you will see them run to dollars. And that's typically when you see a down move. That's the real fear indicator, is the bonds and the dollars. Okay. And as we look, I'm trying to remember all my products that we trade, right? And of course, in the grain markets, we are still long corn, which had a higher week. We're still short beans, which was higher on the week as well. And we are still long wheat, which was also slightly higher. Now, nothing is major. I think that, trying to make a major move here is silly. I don't think they're going anywhere. I think we're going to continue, as I say on RFD every day, or every time I'm on, we ain't got far to go. It's just going to be one of these grinded out, not much going on. And of course, in the meats, cattle, the protein complex, cattle looks great, like it wants to continue to go higher. It's already at highs. And of course, hogs are still weak, but they're getting closer to potentially changing. Now, there are very high prices for October and December that they're usually not at. Now, remember, this year, which is, starts today, or, actually started yesterday, but continues. And of course, we get into the pro football season, the college football season, and suddenly you're going to have millions of people eating lots of food, okay, consumption, which could create much bigger demand. So I expect these prices to go up and higher. And Bitcoin had a nice big week, got back over 50 and came back down, which is natural. Okay, we love the Bitcoin. Okay, again, I will tell you what I always tell you. If you're trading in the exchange regulated products, trade them however you want. Okay. If you're trading in the wallets and you're trading, the 24/7 products, I would only invest money that I would be prepared to lose all of it. Now, again, I own some, but again, I tell you all the time, if it goes to zero, I'm not going to I won't lose any sleep. Okay. But I'm always concerned in unregulated areas where the firm, now Coinbase is regulated, so they're very good. Okay, and in fact, your cash is guaranteed to like a bank. So, but in the meantime, I would just be careful. Listen, I like it. I own it. I don't own enough, like it's always the case, right? Never long enough when they're higher and never short enough when they go down. But in the meantime, we're big fans. And of course, in the sauce, which we're still long all the sauce. Okay, they're basically now all consolidating at higher levels. Cotton pushing new highs. OJ, pushing new highs. Now, I would suspect that OJ's probably got a pretty big beatdown coming here at some point. It's related. It's really a Brazilian thing, not a Florida thing. And there's between the Brazilian real and some other things going on. But I would expect that they're getting awfully frothy in price. Coffee, after spiking and falling, is now working its way back higher again, and obviously we're long. Sugar is consolidating up near new highs once again, and cocoa is making a nice move, and again in consolidation. It's almost as if they are resting before they get the next opportunity to take off to the upside. So overall, though, it's a very quiet period. This is not the time to be aggressive. We day trade every day, and I say the same things every day. Okay, this is not a time to be aggressive. I will tell you when it's time for aggression. This is a time for defense, because defense wins championships. Be passive, be patient, and disciplined. That is where you will make the most money. We did a special yesterday comparing professional gambling to professional trading and the things that you have to do. And of course, if you'd like to get a copy of that recording, you can go ahead and email me at bubbatrading.com. But don't expect much action this week. And don't, the only thing that can happen is we get some bad news that cannot be accounted for that could create a quick spike down, but more than likely it's going to revert back and drift higher. Expect to see more new highs. Again, I expect no real action until the second week of September, and then we'll see and have a better idea what's next for these markets. In the meantime, we're going to step out of here for a break. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Top Up Forward, Sunday, August 29th. We're going to step out. We'll be back with my commentary right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, kids, of course, we talk about our different partners all the time. Again, there's sponsors that help, support this show. And of course, there's sponsors that I have vetted myself and that I'm involved with, that I use their products, and Tradier Brokerage is one of them. I have an account at Tradier. Okay, we've got their APIs. It allows us to automate if you want. You don't have to. It's up to you. Again, we don't want you to do anything you don't want to do. We're on your team. Okay, but Tradier at $10 a month, to me, it's silly that you would pay more. Okay, and those of you who are paying 65 cents a contract, wherever you're trading them at, you're paying too much. Because unless you're only trading 10 contracts a month, every contract over about 18 you're losing money. Okay, that's the bottom line. Again, I don't care. You go where you want. In the meantime, we also have their APIs, which allows us to automate for you if you want in our portfolio models. Okay, at no charge. That is part of your membership. Trader doesn't charge for it. We don't charge for it. And of course, the hedging costs money because hedging is a class. But again, if you want to have your portfolio watched and managed while you're not watching it, it gets taken care of for you. And our new physical metals dealer, obviously I'm a customer, which is how I became able to recommend them, because I vetted them. And of course, it's Strategic Wealth Preservation. And you can reach out to them if you want some more information at Sierra Whiskey Papa, Charlie Alpha Yankee Michael Alpha November.com/Bubba-trading. That's SWPCayman.com/Bubba-trading. And our Family Farms group, what a great group they are. And of course, they help the farmers with the stuff that they don't want to do. Okay, that's what they're there for. So reach out to Family Farms if you're a farmer, and that would be familyfarmsgroup.com/Bubba-trading. That's familyfarmsgroup.com/Bubba-trading. And our commodity report written by Andy Hecht, as I tell you, it's the greatest report. Look, you know me. I vet everybody. I don't get in business with people that I don't think are good for my members. And Andy is a partner now because his products are great. He's got a great understanding of the market from the retail side. And there's nothing better than his technical commodity report. And again, if you combine that with our algorithms, tough to beat. Go to BubbaTrading.com, check it out, Technomental, and of course our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/BubbaTrading. That's patreon.com/BubbaTrading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday. It is August the 29th. And of course, we got golf, we got football, we got baseball. We got a holiday week coming up. And boy, what a tragedy. What a sad place that this country has fallen to. Okay, we're now talking about trying to invoke the 25th Amendment on the current sitting president or another impeachment of another president. Now, I will say that his crimes are horrible. Okay. I will say that the damage that he has done to the economy has been ridiculous and stupid. But what he did in Afghanistan was downright disgusting. Okay. And really is hurting our military, and just a total destruction, and just giving power to those who should not have it. Okay. And I think it's a great American tragedy, the way that this whole thing was executed. And I unfortunately don't like the direction that we are headed right now. And I think that we could be, hopefully, we will get it together, because I'm an American first always. Okay. And I will support the administration as much as they're as stupid as they are, as bad as they are. I support them. I want them to do well, but you're really stepping outside of guidelines and have not had a very good job at execution. And I think that has caused lots of lives and lots of grief, and I think more trouble coming, and I hope that we get it taken care of before it becomes a major nightmare. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. As always, I thank you for spending some time with me. Remember, this week is going to be quiet. Don't try to be aggressive. Trust me, money management, patience, and discipline will always win the day. Have a great day. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you tomorrow with a Bubba's Daily Update, and of course, next Sunday with another Bubba's Bottom Line. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.